title of this report, From Lament to Action, sets the context for where we are as a church. We have lamented together. We have apologised for past actions and hurt. We have debated reports, passed resolutions, and even declared our good intentions. All of this is good, but it is no longer enough.
Probably for the first time, we are committed to enter in conversations around the impact and the legacy of racism on us as an institution and the way in which it has marred and continue to mar the lives of so many people, especially those of global majority heritage.
I think in essence, I want to see a church where the actions match the words and the words match the actions. In this church, I would see racial justice is the norm. I would be valued by all my colleagues for who I am, a black woman called to serve God as a priest and deeply loved by God and having something to offer to the whole church in my uniqueness. And if I'm invited to be on a board or a council or a committee, I will be asked because I will add value, I have something to offer as I fully participate, rather than being a token representative.
My hope is that as we further engage in conversation around racism and racial justice, that we'll be able to come up with a solution that might help us to bring about meaningful change and truly reform our church and make it a place where the outcomes for people will not be determined by their ethnicity or culture, where we will see greater diversity represented in all aspects of our lives, whether in the pews or whether in the corridors of power, in some of our training institutions, that the leadership of our church, both locally and nationally, will reflect the breadth of diversity that we all aspire.
We are hoping to create the conditions in which all candidates feel actively welcomed and the people responsible for making those recruitment decisions feel genuinely excited to reach more diverse candidates and think creatively about how to attract them.
I hope that one palpable way in which we will see the transformation might also be in the way in which we do church. That something of the breadth and the diversity, both ethnically and culturally, that makes up England will be reflected in the way in which we are church, the way in which we come together and express our faith in God. And if indeed history is an invitation to connect past and present, perhaps this is an opportunity, especially in relation to racism and racial justice, to examine, address and redress some of the faults in the way in which we have been as a church, and hopefully it will put us also in a better position where we're able to imagine and create a future out of which all of our respective stories can be fully heard and shared, and where all of us can be present and participating.
I want to see a church which is welcoming to everyone, where people feel confident to have conversations about race and about their different experience and to understand each other better. And that means everybody. I think sometimes we tend to be a bit polite. Sometimes people are worried about saying the wrong thing, and so they say nothing. And we need to be really brave. The most important thing that I want to see is a church which takes action.
One of my hopes for this report is that it will move the issues of anti-racism and racial justice away from being a concern just for a few, away from being a concern just for people of colour alone, and rather that this will become a mainstream issue, something that is mainstreamed within the body of church and something which we all recognise we have a stake in addressing.